Hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about saw blade safety. So I've got 10 pack of saw blades here, sent right from Frontier Sawmills, which is where I got my sawmill at. First thing you're going to want to do is lay it flat, cut one side open, figure out where those teeth are. What I like to do is I like to go on the opposite side of the teeth. So my fingers are on the back of the blade right now because there's 10 blades in there. They're all 129 inches long, and they've got lots of teeth on them. Lots of very, very sharp teeth. So I like to deal with the back of the blade if I can. Pull them out of there. Now they're all wrapped up. In order to get them unwrapped, what you're going to want to do is take that yellow side, put it away from you, grab both sides. What I like to do is I like to hold one side, I like to move the other side, and then just eliminate it from the clip and slowly extend it out. Because again, those blades are under a lot of tension. You want to keep that tension on them so that you don't end up springing them everywhere and they go everywhere. Start cutting everything. So now I'm dealing with this bow tie in the middle. Again, keep it under tension. Spin that thing around. You need to grab a pair of pliers. You can grab a pair of pliers. But you're going to want to spin that around and take it off. So you're going to want to take your pliers. Again, get this under tension. Slowly spin that around. As you spin that around, all those blades are going to want to come out at the same time, and you don't want all those blades to come out. Just untwist it a little bit. And they are now free. Now if you want to hang on to this, you can put it on one side of them, so you can hang them up in your shop or whatever. Hang them up on site, put them in a toolbox. I like to keep them just like this. There is a little bit of tension as you take each one out. You'll see it kind of pop out. Again, these are 129 inches long, so you gotta be very careful with them. Again, I always try to handle it from the back if I can. I don't like to wrap my fingers around the blade, even though I've got gloves on. You never know what it's gonna do. So, next I'll show you how to install and uninstall it from the sawmill. So here I am out at the sawmill. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna reach in here. There's a couple clasps. Yep. Mine have a lock on them, so I gotta push up from the bottom to get them to unlatch. They are both unlatched right now. The last thing I did was take the blade off, push that all the way open. And the saw blade is gonna go right around these wheels. It's gonna go through this track, around that wheel, and back across the top. So every time I want to install a blade, I got to take this blade guard off. But I kind of view it as a safety option. Because when that's on there, I know the blade's going to stay on these wheels. It's going to stay in this track. And it's going to stay on that wheel. Because it can't move far enough forward to get out of there. Then I take the blade, again handling it from the back where I can, slide it in that gap, so I'm in the two gaps at the bottom. Now I can work my way around the wheel on both sides. Now I've got the blade installed. Just got this wheel to go around. So I come around this wheel. I might have to loosen up the tensioner right here just to move this wheel a little bit. And I like to make sure that I rotate the same direction that it's going to cut in order to make sure it's feeding right. I reinstall this blade guard, going all the way around my wheels. That keeps the blade from popping off at me while I'm just trying to get it on the wheels a little bit easier. So you got these brushes on the wheel. I like to make sure they're clean. I like to make sure they're a little bit tight up against the wheel so that as it's spinning around, it's cleaning off that wheel. This one tends to stay in place, but again, just loosen it up, knock the stuff loose. It gets sawdust on it and stuff from the blade itself, and then tighten it back up to clean off that belt. Now that I've got the blade all adjusted, it's on both the wheels, it's running through the guide. I can go ahead and I can tighten this a little bit. The reason I want to do this with the door open is because I want to make sure this top part of the blade is tight. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm actually swinging the blade and letting it vibrate back and forth just a little bit. You can see very little movement. And again, as you're sawmilling, that blade's going to heat up, it's going to expand a little bit. So every couple of cuts, I like to make sure that it's nice and tight just by turning this a little bit and adjusting the tension on the blade. But now that we got the blade installed, we can go ahead and shut this. This is a door switch, which will kill the engine if your door's left open. So you want to make sure that when you close the door, you don't get this trapped out here. You don't want to see that. You want it inside the container so that the machine knows the door is shut. Got that side locked, and I got that side locked. Now my blade's all ready. So now let's say I'm at the end of my shift, or the end of the day, or I hit something, I gotta take the blade off. I do that same thing, unlocking the inside. I unlock this side. Lift up that door all the way. It'll lock open, it'll stay open, and basically I do everything in reverse. So I want to loosen it, move that wheel a little bit. You can see the blade kind of peels away from the top, peels away from the bottom. Now I know I'm loose, and I can remove this blade guard. know it's just a little piece of metal, but the fact that it sits right inside this door, and when it's closed, the door covers up part of that blade, and this keeps that right in front of the blade. Just gives me a real feeling of safety when I'm going to cut a board. I know the saw's not going to pop off. I know that blade's not going to get squirrely on me. So now I can take this blade off. Again, I want to grab in the middle, just like when I put the blade on. I'm going to work from one side and go to the other side. I want to deal with the back of the blade if I can, and I just want to peel it right out of there. Now this is a brand new blade, so I could put it back in with the other 9 blades that we started with, or I could fold it up. So this is the easiest way I've found to collapse a bandsaw blade. Take it in your hand, step on it down below, and you push down and you twist. At the same time, you'll end up with 3 loops, and you can collapse the blade down really small. Kind of adjust it a little bit so that it looks just like this. Then to get them back out, just take it. I get this one here. I've got these 2 down here. And there we go. Now I've got the saw blade. So here's what you've got. You've got 3 loops of that blade resting in on each other, which is a whole lot easier to handle getting into and out of the field, or getting into your sawmill or shelter or whatever. And then you know those are your new blades, and this is your used blade. Now I can sharpen this one, I can put it right back on the sawmill, or I can wait until I've got 7 of those guys, or 8 of those guys, and sharpen them all at the same time, which is probably what I'll end up doing, because it takes about 10-15 minutes to sharpen a blade. So I'll just wait until I got a couple hours to do it and sharpen up a whole bunch of them. Thanks for watching. If you guys like this content, or if you want to see me use the sawmill, go ahead and subscribe. Like the video if you found this helpful, and thanks for watching.